Hello, I'm Andy, and I'm going to read to you a program called Tarot for January 2020 Monthly Horoscope using these Kabbalistic tarot cards. And this is for you coming from Sagittarius. First, let me show you my email address. Here it is. And if you want to have a 90-minute reading, which will cost you USD $50 to know your next 8 or 9 years, and I'll give you so much information from the universe. We'll talk about that later. Now, for the first 15 days of January, I'm going to get a card for you, and we're going to talk about your job possibilities for you coming from Sagittarius. Well, this is a card of plenty, which means that there are many opportunities for you where business is concerned. But that is the problem. Too many. So you'll have to make a choice, which is going to be very difficult. So I would rather for this first 15 days of January that you stay put if you can with the job you have and slowly figure out from all these many possibilities of what you can do. Because if you're going to rush into something new, then you'll change your mind and go rush into something new again. This will go on. So stay where you are, do a lot of research for what's being offered to you would be better. Now about business. So let's see what the card says about business. First 15 days of January. And it's a card of differences. Differences in thought, differences in action. So there's no basic, simple understanding going on. So it's you listening to me. So why don't you, for the sake of harmony, in the first 15 days of January, in business, tell yourself that harmony is very important. So in business, between you and the people you do business with, you must get things together and you must tell yourself to be of one thought, because here it shows different thoughts are flowing. So there's miscommunication and there's such problems. I like the purple right down on the bottom. That's one of your best colors. So because of that purple, I would say that you are going to manage it somehow, but to make it better, communicate. Now we're going to talk to you about romance, a new romance. Should you find a new romance? How is it going to be in the first 15 days of January? So let's see what this card says. It's a good card. Nothing wrong with this card. But it is a card of being very rigid. So somehow if you find the new romance, either the new romance partner is going to be very rigid, which means what the new romance thinks and wants to do, there's no flexibility. So you try and support this good possibility of with this new romance partner you will find. You try to bring the flexibility and the negotiability. I won't say it's a bad card, it's only very rigid. Everything is in its place and there's no room for movement. So you supply that. And I would just say, take your time about this new romance that you might meet in the first 15 days. Because somebody who's rigid like that is going to be a problem. Because you from Sagittarius, you like your space. Now we will talk about an ongoing romance that you may already have. How is that going to be for you? There is somebody wanting to create problems in your ongoing romance, or there is a problem and you can control the problem. But since there is a problem, you have to be careful in your ongoing romance of firstly finding out what the problem is. And only then you can control it. So move very gently, because you, Sagittarius, will go hammer and tongs to find out what's being happening behind your back. Go gently, because the time for you is not exactly the best. Go gently and find that out gently. Now about marriage, and see what the card says. See what the card says for you, for your marriage. It's the card of death, but it's got nothing to do about that. This card simply says, yes, past issues were not very good. There was unhappiness, there were differences, but that is in the past. That's what death means. That's in the past. And so you have every chance for a new beginning in your marriage. So since it's you listening to me, get that across to your marriage partner that you should start in a way new by feeling young and going out together and having a good time in this first 15 days of January. Now I'm going to move to the last 16 days of January, and I'm going to talk to you about your job. For you coming from Sagittarius, last 16 days of January. Let's see what this card says. Now, this is regarding job. This is a card that warns you that if you are being adventurous in the job area, you're going to find yourself in a mess because there are too many openings and too little knowledge, and everything is flowing from one cup to another. So there's confusion from this card where job is concerned. So I would say rather you stay on where you are. But if you're looking for expansion, then do some research first. So that's the message for the last 16 days. Now, what about business for your last 16 days? Let's see what the card says. Oh, this is a very good card. It's a card of strength, which means that in the area of business, if you want to move ahead, move ahead. But you see, there are many signs on this card. That's why I like to use Kabbalistic cards. There are many signs, and I'm worried that strength can be translated as daringness, and there can be overexposure. So the risk factor is very high in this card. So I would say for the last 16 days in business, tell yourself, perhaps it's not good to take the risk, but what you have in your hands, you can promote that a bit to carry on. So this card of strength can open you up to suddenly finding that that the matters are over your head. Now we will talk about romance, a new romance, should you find one. How will that be for you in the last 16 days for you coming from Sagittarius? And it's not a good card. If you find a new romance, if I were you, I would be very careful to give your heart away. Use this last 16 days of January to study the person and to definitely not get yourself into a mess, because this is a card which conflict. Everywhere there's conflict. So you're going to meet somebody who is going to create conflict in your life, basically. So a new romance, take it easy, go slow. What about an ongoing romance that you may have? Let's see what this card says now. Ongoing romance. This is a card of control, control everywhere. So is it you contributing the control in your ongoing romance, or is it that romance partner? Either way, it's a card that shows ego is also involved. So that's why the control. So if you find that this is going on and this is how your romance partner is behaving, tell yourself it's only the 16 days, last 16 days of January, it's not 16 months. So to just go slow and accept things and be flexible and let the 16 days pass. But this is a card that if you retaliate, then the problems are going to become very bad and unexpectedly bad. So you have to be smart. Now, what about marriage? Let's see what the card says about marriage. This card here. Well, it's a card of sunshine. So I have to say that your marriage is safe. But this is a card, looking at the colors here, this is a card of ego as well. So there's an ego play going on in your marriage. So tell yourself, since it's you listening to me, that you don't want to show your ego. And if it's your partner showing the ego, tell yourself to just sidestep whatever is upsetting you. Remain calm. Because this card, although it's a card of love, it's a card of love and sunshine, yet the way the colors are shown, there is a conflict in this card. So if you sense any conflict in your marriage, don't want to look for answers. Let the 16 days pass quietly. That's what I would suggest. Otherwise, you're going to have more than your handful of problems in your marriage. Now, what about Sagittarius, sorry, yes, you come from Sagittarius. And I'm going to talk to you about your lucky ages for the month of January. You coming from Sagittarius. Let's see what your ages are going to be. The lucky people from Sagittarius. Well, look at this card. It's called Ten of Wands, but never mind about that. That's only name. I would say with this card that if you happen to be the ages of, are we talking of that? Your lucky ages. If you happen to be the ages of 18 or 27 or 36 or 45 or 54 or 63 or 72 or even 81, you're going to be one very lucky person, whether in romance, in marriage, whether in job, in business, whether in any area. Now, if you're not of these ages, then you should have a 90-minute session with me, which will cost you USD 50 to know your next 8 or 9 years. And I'll give you a lot of information. We'll talk about that later. Now we're going to talk about lucky dates, DATES. And this is a very mystical card, a very mystical card. And looking at this card, I'm going to say that your lucky dates are going to be the 7th, the 16th, and the 25th. The 7th, the 16th, and the 25th. So look forward to these, whether going to the casino, whether going out with the family, whether in your job, whether in your business. Something very special is happening. And now I'm going to talk to you about colors. So what are the colors that are going to be exceptionally good for you from this card? Let's see what the card says. Well, looking at this card, what impresses me is the purple. The purple, look at that. Powerful purple. And so I'm going to say, you coming from Sagittarius, try to wear purple. And colors are beneficial to us waist upwards. That's where colors are important. So wear as much purple as you can and you will do well. Be lucky, be inspired. And now what about direction energy? Well, 9 planets have been placed around Earth. So when we look north or south or east or west, we're going to face some kind of planets, whether good or bad. This is a card of Mars. You can see the sign of the planet there. So I'm going to say, what are you talking about? About direction. So I'm going to say that it's good for you in the whole month of January to try and face south. If you're looking for remedies or if you're looking for opportunities, you're looking for inspiration, face south and you'll be able to get that. It just raise you a notch or two in every mystical way. And now we're talking about lucky contact, who you could meet to make something just lucky for yourself, a lucky contact. And the card here. Well, for me, this is the card of Cancer. So I would say that somebody from Cancer is going to help you. It's going to bring very good news for you. It's going to help you in job, in business. It's going to help you in personal life as well. So look forward to meeting somebody from Cancer in the month of January. Now, this 90-minute session that I have for you, which will cost you USD 50, and it's going to be based on your date of birth, your time of birth, and looking at your palms. And I'm going to talk to you about many things. I'll formulate for you and teach you how to create your own personal lucky lottery numbers again and again, every week, every month. You can do it, and I'll teach you how to do it. I'll give you a lot of energies from the universe, your lucky colors, your lucky gemstones, your lucky days, your lucky directions. And even more than that, I will show you how to contact that supernatural energy that you have, how to make that contact with that energy. Because we all have a supernatural energy. Some call it the soul, some call it the guide, some call it the force of energy. We have that. And people who know how to contact that inner energy, these are the people who in the world become so famous and so lucky, and everything works out for them. And I'll show you how to do it. It's not very difficult. So send me that email. I've shown you my email address, andyhoro9@gmail.com. And I will, of course, respond to you. And we'll make a date to have this 90 minutes. It's not 19 like some people ask me. It's 90 minutes. And you will see how 90 minutes will pass, because there's so much I can tell you, age by age, calendar year by calendar year, for your next 8 or 9 years, and all the other information. Well, I wish you the best of luck in the month of January. And until we meet, good luck. Thank you and goodbye.